All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Got a bunch of Illuvium stuff we're going to be doing here today. Once again, lots on the docket. Should be making for an exciting time. Thank you for joining me. We're here in the new studio, or not studio, in the new portion of the bedroom to break the fourth wall a little bit. And the new setup. Does it look exactly like the old setup? Good. It means that I've set this up basically exactly like I had it before, so there we go. Plan again for today. I made a quick little snippet onto X giving the quick rundown, but I'll do it here as well. But basically, we have ourselves in a pretty good position in terms of the battle pass. If I manage to get myself, I think, into the top 3, say 2 or 3 times here today, I will have the battle pass completed. So that is going to be our first goal for today, is to finish off that battle pass. I'll do things in a little bit of a different order than what I was doing in the past couple of streams. See, if the battle pass maxes out at 3,000 points, I'm at 2983, so I am pretty close. And I'm also just really feeling it right now for the Illuvium arena. Been having a lot of fun lately with it, like even more so than normal. So I'm definitely wanted to hop into that. Once we get that battle pass completed, assuming we do, next thing on the docket will be to hop back into the Illuvium Overworld for one Crimson Wastes run. I am still looking for a Malura. I'm debating whether or not I want to take a step into Stage 2 runs. That's not normally something that I do. I usually stick into the Stage 1s. But maybe either today or maybe another day we'll hop on in here, but we'll see. We'll do a run no matter what, though, here today. And of course, wrapping up the day, we will have our normal Illuvium 0 cooldown lap, where I have a couple of scanners finally starting to finish. A few of them have reached that level 4 part, so I can actually start looking for more tier 4 biodata, get that started, and see if I can make that collection increase my collection, rather. I don't have too many tier 4s to go. So thankfully there's not too many of them. But there are a few eluding me, and we'll see if maybe we can snag a couple of them. But without further ado, we will hop in to the arena in just a moment's time. There we are. Based off the positioning of this new setup, in theory my lighting is a little bit better, so hopefully I don't have as much green screen troubles as I normally do. But as always, regardless of which platform you happen to be on, I do have the chats open, and absolutely am completely a-okay conversing during gameplay, questions, Illuvium related, non-Illuvium related, does not matter. As long as it's appropriate, I'll gladly answer, and I'll let you know if I cannot. For whatever reason. I know some people like to kind of focus in when it comes to ranked and not say a whole heck of a lot. I will be completely content with making a few more mistakes in my gameplay because I'm having fun chatting with y'all. So, again, it's not mandatory. If you just want to sit back and relax, by all means. I'm just happy you're here. One of the things I worked on relatively recently during some of these Overworld runs, picked up a couple of extra Lynxes, so now I've got the Chopin drone skin for my Lynx as well here. That is Chopin, right? Yep, the Chopin one. Just built that one. I was using the Hilda one for quite a while. But actually, I do need to kind of get in uniform here. I am not technically matching what I am wearing. So what do I want to put on? If I have some gray, I did the Exalted app on last time. Could potentially go here for the Chikoro suit. I think I like that one, actually. We'll go with this one here today, and I do have the matching drone. There we go. All dressed and good to go. Of course, this is still on the verge of the IPL World Finals, the final week of it, right around the corner. It's going to be weird to think about not having any sort of IPL to cast after this week, because for the last couple months, since the end of August or early September, every weekend has had some sort of IPL, and I've been absolutely loving it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. Oh. My cat's trying to escape my room. I'll be 1 second. Here she is. There we are. I have 2 cats. One of them is completely content with sleeping on the bed while I'm doing my commentary. The other one could just could care less. It annoys her, so she has to go leave. But that's a-okay. In terms of regions, like, I'm still so torn. I have these 2 battle boards, the Crimson Waste one, and of course I picked up a while ago. Probably my, or is the favorite region of mine that actually had a skin. Because my favorite region of all is Taiga Boreal, but it did not have a purchasable battle board. But I could potentially get it now because there is the Taiga Boreal skin as a part of the default rotation if it actually happens to be the region you're playing at. Still very, very torn about that. Because I do like my Crimson Waste, and I do like, of course, the one I just got from the Battle Pass as well, the Brightland Steppes Overgrowth one. Do definitely like it all. Hopping into game. And speaking of Taiga Boreal, that's exactly where we're going to start things off here today, it looks like. A nice, tame game, we'll see. One thing that's been kind of funny, or one thing that was funny that happened to me yesterday, I had enough time to sneak a game or 2 in after doing some video editing before I went to go pick my son up from school. And I ran into Squawk on the ranked ladder, and they said, "Okay, Silent, I've got a build for you. You gotta do Shock Aegis." And I know, I definitely want to do that. For whatever reason, of course, I have this fascination lately of trying to turn everything into Aegis if possible. However, the potential for actually doing that is super, super limited. I need, because in terms of the weapons, you need what? Either a fire empath or a fire buckler, right? But then on the air side of things, you only have an air, like an air fighter weapon, or a the air bulwark weapon with the pole aim, or the pole arm. And there isn't, if you get the air version rather, if you get the pole arm, because you need bulwark and empath, right, in order to make that work. If you get the air bulwark, there is naturally no fire empath alluvial currently in the game. You'd have to hope for a fire Tipo, which is not a guarantee, or a fire empath Lynx, which is super specific and definitely not a guarantee. So I couldn't do it in that game, unfortunately, there with him. But I've been thinking. I've been trying to put it together in my head as to how can I actually pull that off. And I have ideas. It's just a matter of having everything line up, because there is the fire way of doing it as well. Very, very similar situation. You can have the fire bulwark weapon right now, but air empaths, you have a couple of at least that you can go for, so that can work. But if you happen to get the fire empath staff, you need a air bulwark, which does not exist right now. So again, a similar situation, you're kind of stuck using the Groko as your option. So if it happens to line up, I would love to be able to see it. But the potential is so, so difficult. Like right now, all the air items are coming towards me apparently anyway. And based off of what we got, so we've got either fighters and what's not. There we are. Ember Buckler, it is. Cleanse the palette a little bit here. Earth Empath Lynx on the board here today, eh? Okay. Bring the Lynx on board. Do something like that for now. course, with Operation Everything Aegis, I do have it here. Let's see. Ember Buckler. There we are. I literally spent an evening before bed one day just having all of my teams written down on a G sheet for later, and then on the team planner, just to help keep me in line. And it's nothing that is meant to be secretive. By all means, if you happen to take a screenshot of it or something along those lines, I'm not gonna get mad. You're more than welcome to help preach the word of Aegis here with me. Okay. So by finding the Ember Buckler, this opens up an extremely easy Wildfire Aegis composition that I've been getting at least top 4s with over the last couple of days. Majority of the time, the units are not very contested, and it seems to do okay up against fighters, which we do seem to have quite a handful of here in this game. So I think I'm setting myself up for some success here. Of course, there's always some room for some chaos. In fact, let's get Fleesh out of here very quickly. We've now got Bulwarks online. So I have my front line. Granted, it's not a very strong front line right now. Do something like that. Apon, I will need one of you, actually, so I'll pick you up. But yeah, early on, I'm very, very content. I'm probably going to get beaten up a lot, but that is a-okay. Just try to mitigate the damage as best as possible, take a few down, try to trade, not necessarily evenly, but as minimal damage as possible. All drone augments being stage 2 does help me as well. This prevents the chance of unstoppable Umbers or unstoppable Penguins. Having a tier 3, the tier 3 like combat rhythm or the tier 3 bloodthirst online does make this comp a little bit harder to pilot. Not impossible, but a little bit harder. Alright, at the Dokas. And hopefully start leveling up a couple of my tanks here in this instance, a couple of my bulwarks. As we slowly but surely whittle away here at these Dokas. At least getting the 5 bulwarks nice and quickly, even though they are a little bit lackluster in terms of stats at the moment, does at least give me that original power spike. So I have 1, 2. Optimally, this turns into the attack speed one. We're not going to get it, but there are a handful of energy or not energy, air users in this one. I actually don't mind picking that up this time. Line this up kinda like so. And then starting in the next round, we will have ourselves max interest, while probably still being at 80 or just above 80 health, which is not too bad if I do say so myself. Line there from my little heady came out a little bit late, but it is what it is. If you can maybe get a couple killing blows. There's a couple low health bars, but they're not being focused, unfortunately. Yeah, this one's gonna hurt. Could have definitely traded better. But there is the level. There is one more Groko, or not Groko, there's one more Caribou. I roll to find some of my carries, or not my carries, but some of my tanks. I've got the one. I've got the links here as well, which can change things up a little bit. Something along these lines. Add another empath for a buff. They'll get stunned up real quick. Links check. How's everybody doing on Lynxes? Anestus has one. And of course, I have one. Everything else is just baby lynxes, so we're not actually in a bad spot. Continue to try and search for lynxes, but I've definitely evolved a little bit compared to what I used to do. Like say a month ago, this would be the point where I'm just mashing the roll button to try and find the fully evolved lynx and completely sacrificing my economy to do it. But the times have changed. The way that this game gets played has definitely changed, and it's much, much faster. So putting yourself in a bad spot, economy-wise, like that, hurts a lot more than it used to. Let's get rid of use. Bang, bang. There is our Aegis. Okay, you could come on over. I don't have a target to supercharge per se right now, so what I'm going to end up actually doing is supercharging the Lynx with just something like this for the time being. I'm 2 Lynxes away from finding the fully evolved one. The Earth Lynx would be a nice defensive unit. Even right now, it's doing quite a nice job of keeping me healthy with the additional help from the backup of that Archos. We can just win by out-sustaining. I do have a target on the bench that is ready to start accepting Aegis buffs. Let's see, healing on cast, I do like that. And then Graco is here. I'm gonna put my extra credits from the interest into leveling right here, right now. I mean, I'm not rushing for this Lynx. If I happen to get it, that's fantastic. But if it does not show up, it's not gonna be the end of the world. That's what I do have Archos for, if need be. In terms of other team compositions, let's take a look and see what we've got. Of course, the guy that I'm playing up against here, Tunnel Cry, does have a Ferns. Zinta has a Fern, but again, it's all just babies at this point. Zip Zap Poof does have some of the headies that I will eventually be looking for. And again, what I just love about Aegis right now, it's hardly ever contested, and if it is that specific version of Aegis contested. Majority of times they are not. Definitely not a sure win by any means, but we can at least do alright. Glad to have gotten that extra heal. We're probably going to end up losing this one unless the Lynx can pull a rabbit out of a hat here. At least keeping the healer beside it alive, so it might actually be able to burn through. Never mind, there we go. The extra Omega power and the extra attack speed that we're getting on takedown here is definitely helping keeping that move alive. Regen, not too bad. Second wind, potentially. Earth, no. Hypers, that's something that I need to worry about. There is a handful of water users, and one thing that would be a big problem is if an Umber, of course, comes later, but at the same time, it's not stage 3s. Second wind. Level up, there's one more Lynx. Drake, hello, how's it going? Good to see you again. Okay. So 1 Lynx away from being fully evolved. I'll have my level up on the next level. I need to preferably get to level 8, but we'll see. I might have to stop at 7. But right now, like, I'm not going to be focused on rolling, per se. I've got essentially what I need. I might want something more, but say getting to level 8 would be where I need to be. There's the fully evolved Lynx alongside a Heady, which is going to start proccing the Wildfire. Wildfire Aegis is online. A composite on top of this to give me some more Aegis? I like the idea. So let's put you here. You eventually become Aegis anyway. We're going to supercharge this Lynx off the rip. And I am going to add my app on here for damage amplification. So this healing empath Lynx is actually going to essentially be the damage carry at the same time. I'm curious if this is going to work out as I had predicted. Yes, Drake, first game of the day. Came in at a good time. Just getting started. And not only is this thing an absolute offensive menace, it is also a massive healer. So it's basically tying right now for top damage on the team, but it also, of course, is that big healer to help assist with these tanks. Gigantic for the time being. Did not get the one that I was hoping for again. Attack speed, no, I'm not really worried about that. Yeah, we'll go with this one here. The stealing, piercing. At the same time, I like the energy damage, though. Energy damage. Let's do that. Give the bulwark to you. Let's just make this even crazier. We are extremely rich. Let's get to level 7. That is on and successful. Try and keep you within range. Add Fern to the mix here as well. Putting myself in the line of fire of that rake. So not potentially good positioning here, especially since my Crunk is literally just walking around aimlessly. Did not take the opponent's team into consideration when building this, or when positioning this at all, so they will absolutely wreck my run in terms of the win streak, but rightfully so, rightfully punished. Still above 60 HP. What do we have in terms of competition? Not a lot, actually, so we can probably comfortably get to level 8 and start rolling from there. Yeah, Saber with a pretty solid squad here. I was talking about how I'm a little bit worried about Umber. A little bit, at least. I need to try and find a way to get to this Lynx supercharged. 1, 2, 3. Go like that. You go here. Get a part of this too, Fern. That is enough in terms of credits to get to level 8. So now we can actually start looking. Finding Fern right off the rip is nice. Alliance might not be a bad idea either. Potentially. Do have it marked down as something that I would normally take in this composition, so I'll probably pick it up. Could at least replace the Groko. And it'll burn it down. There we go. Yeah, the wildfire there at the Crunk is actually what's leading me in terms of damage, so just constantly sustaining seems to be the name of the game here so far. It says I have a cling with this composition. I think I can understand where. Ebbs as well. What did I build that this is looking for? Interesting. Okay, there's the Fern, or Fernite. Now that it's Fernite, I could potentially start moving my augments over and putting the Aegis onto Fernite instead. I do want Hetty. I might not have had an Axon in my composition as I originally had planned it, so I might swap it out if I can get my Cling evolved. That would give me the 4th nature for a little bit of extra sustain. Yeah, let's see. In terms of damage, where's Fern? It's kind of near the bottom of the list, actually. Yeah, I'm torn. Do I actually want to move my stuff over to Fern right now? Because Link seems to be doing a good job. Definitely a lot of eggs into one basket. I can maybe at least move over the true site. Something like that. Maybe we'll experiment with this next round. I would keep the stacking Omega power onto the Lynx just to become a healing monster. But the old Fate Sealer and the energy versions, I would potentially switch. Shield Crate, oh, hang on a second, the AoE version will gladly do that. Holostasis will gladly do that. Let's give this over to Kronk. There is Twine. Let's swap out the Axon Assistance. Thank you for your service. 1, 2. See if we happen to find any more of our alluvials in this one. Kling again. I'm not looking for Kling, though. Foe being right here in front of me. This is almost too good to ignore, actually. Not going to lie. Even just to kind of steal this for the moment. It's gonna be extremely, extremely late. I'm probably not going to get it as intended. Kind of broke the composition up a little bit. Emergency button, no emergency button, but we do get the resistance stealer. I do like that. See how Fernite does with these augments for now. Team still seems to be doing a good job, and we do see once this Fernite actually does start casting, it does start getting some pretty ridiculous damage in. And that's not even properly using Aegis right now. I did not have all 3 units pumping its damage into the Fernite. So I got to adjust that a lot better here. Let's get that in range. The combat rhythm is definitely a solid pick. Okay, so 1, 2, you're kind of here. You touch around, say, from the back, potentially. I need to get the Ranger in there, though. Try and get a visual. I don't like that, actually. I don't like that at all. Do something like this for me. Definitely a mess. I did not get anywhere near enough, but at the same time, I'm just kind of building credits at this time. If I get smoked, I get smoked. I do see that Sinolf on the other side. It's just going to go into my Ranger, so I'm not going to complain too much about that, actually. Going back into the Ranger again, and I think the Wildfire and the squad might be able to still hold, even though I was not anywhere near fast enough to position these units. We will clean up nicely. And we do take out Headshot in the process. The one player that was actually going for Ferns alongside me does look like they got knocked out, so that is pretty interesting. I'll gladly see that happen. 1, 2, let's try this again. Because in theory, I want to have along these lines. You're kind of close to the front line, yes. That is fine. You go here. Then if you're doing that, you're not necessarily in range. So this is a little bit awkward. I might actually end up trapping my Ranger this time. But let's try it out and see what happens. I want to see what happens if I can actually fully charge this Fernite up. Do I happen to find any more? I do find one more. I do find the Evolve here onto the Apon as well. I did trap my guys at least for a little bit. This is Seru, who absolutely crushed me in the last time we battled. Looks like it's going to be a very, very similar scenario. The Wildfire is going to help put a dent into the team at least, but once they actually start finding their crits, yeah, they will take me out here. Okay, Grocko, you've served me well, thank you. Forest is here as well, potentially trying to make this work while having a Forest on the bench is kind of stupid, actually. Part of me would love to just give it over to Boris. Seru is picking up a couple of my Fernites as well, it looks like. Oh, they might be trying to block me a little bit here. So, with that being the case, we can keep them for the time being. Again, biding my time, because I know I'm too slow for this. But potentially switching over to Forest is going to be an option, especially since Zip Zap, who was holding a few of them, did get eliminated. Vampite is going right up against my little Scarabok, so that's doing quite well. I think I might need to move the positioning of my Krunk. It seems so healthy all the time for a tank. Or it's just doing a very good job of sustaining, one of the two. There we are. Hey, Scarabok is now Goliath. Beautiful. Another foe. Okay. Let's move you out, put foe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll do some repositioning in just a second to try and turn this Forest into the monster. Is it Wildfire? No. But the Wildfire is no longer going to be the purest of wind conditions. That foe will be. Shield plus resistances, I'll gladly accept that. Strike as well, get the one with the attack speed. I can still buff this one up, so let's see. Get this done properly, I need to switch this up quite significantly. So there is bang, bang, bang. Something along these lines. There's the one here. 2 buffs. 3 buffs. And put that onto the Goliath. I think we got all 3 Aegises onto that Forest. Yeah, Fernite is just going to be there for an Omega and for some additional assistance. The longer I can keep my Forest kind of trapped fighting inside of the Lynx's powerhouse, that could be what keeps us in this fight. Oh, that's a lot of damage, though. Yeah, we'll end up falling. Yeah, Seru's going to keep on beating on me here, it looks like. Scoriox online. Level, and let's start pumping in some of these rolls. Blazonite is actually here. That's interesting. Alright, foe. Can we find foe Russ and Phosphorus? We rolling like crazy, but not finding a damn thing. That is another heady. We can now add another Aegis on top of this. We're gonna make the... Can't do it like that. Shoot. Phosphorus online. There we go. Big final push here to try and get the job done. Can my tanks get in line? Can Phosphorus find some of these absolutely beautiful Omegas? Right now it's kind of stuck on the outside, but at least it's out of range of that Sinolf beam. It's going right for the back line. It wants that Scoriox. Can we get it? We're breaking on through. There goes the stun. We're on top of the Scoriox. Not doing a heck of a lot of damage just yet. Now we're there. There we go. We're going to burn on through beautifully. Top 2 finish to start off the day. Can we get more? Of course, this is a rogue-based composition this time. Let's see. Palazzo. You were doing fine there. That is a-okay. Blazon Knights, you go here as well, I think. Where's my ranger? Goes there. And just try to back up this Blazon Knight. Try to back up the Phosphorus. Do I trap it, though, with all of my surroundings? I do, kinda. This is unfortunate misplay. Now it's going to get itself into the fight. But it may have actually been enough time. Maybe keeping Phosphorus safe. How did that win so hard? All right, we're doing well. Let's just make this Blotto an absolute unkillable monstrosity. Goliath is just here to try and back up Blotto and to back up the Blazonite. I could even go a step further and try and beef up the Blazonite here. Something like this, potentially. Riley does have a Predator Augment, but it's just going to be going after Archo, so that doesn't bother me. The only thing that's a little out of place here is my Lynx. Not necessarily in a position that I could really heal very well. But look at this Phosphorus go with the 4 Aegis on top of it. It's just absolutely shredding through this squad. There we go. Can I optimize this anymore, I wonder? It's something like this, where Appon is kind of in the line of fire. Maybe I can move Lynx over? Could potentially work here. Now, Seru is not an air user, so potentially I could swap one of the augments onto Phosphorus for a little bit more optimization. Especially, it's not going to give me it. I was hoping for a blue augment. Actually, I have one. It's not going to give me what I was looking for, either of what I was looking for, unfortunately. So that's not going to quite work out as planned. Hey. Okay, so they're thinking about diving over on the other ends, maybe trying to sneak around from the back. Stealing? Let's steal some of their stats, why don't we? Then, let's level up all the way up to 10. Not quite gonna find that, but that is a-okay. Let's add Ador to the squad as well for a little bit of additional healing assistance. Dives right onto the Appon, big stun right off the rip. Boris is still able to swing from there, so it's actually getting some pretty decent angles onto this opposing squad. And with that, Wildfire Aegis will prevail once again. And we start off this day with a W. It worked out quite nicely. Firing all the way up to level 10. They had a hard time breaching anyway with the squad that they did end up having. But adding level 10, adding the Ador there to stop any sort of additional attack from the bottom rights going upward. And potentially getting a gank onto Phosphorus that way. It was very, very messy. I feel like I could have played that way better. But oddly enough, trapping my own Phosphorus helped keep it out of danger. So it worked out nicely. And because it was a win, we've already finished the Battle Pass. In any game I've ever played, this is the first time I've finished a Battle Pass. So I am very, very happy with even almost a month left to spare. So even though I said that, oh, the Battle Pass is basically done for me once I got the battle board. I mean, having this point multiplier I'll still gladly accept it. I'm not sure exactly still what it entails in terms of rewards, but there we go. We actually start things off with a W, and because we did, it does mean that we can very, very nicely, say maybe after this game, or one more even after that, but we can sneak in some Overworld nice and comfortably today. I was thinking it was going to take me a couple games to get this battle pass completed, but no, because we won. There we go, we got it right off the rip. Nice team comp, thank you. Definitely appreciate it. I'm very... low-key kind of proud of myself, because it was very easy for me to fixate on Fur Knight in that scenario, and just be so fixated on making Wildfire super, super strong that I could have passed on the foes. But given all the information that we had on the side, seeing that some people were running Fur Knights, seeing that Saveru in that instance also had Fur Knights as well, and they weren't likely to fall, I'm very, very happy that I actually made the choice to pick those foes up. Being able to get that Phosphorus definitely changed a lot. Definitely having 4 Aegis changed a lot. And then just the beautiful sustain from Wildfire and the Lynx and Archos, and even the little Ador at the end came in clutch. The spreadsheet that I have for the Illuvials record, did I create that? Yes, that is something I did make. If you're referring to this I did make myself, yes. I made it more so because in terms of the actual collection, you can just go onto the Illuvium website and they have a spot for your collection. However, there's nothing like that in regards to blueprints. So that's why I originally made that sheet, was to allow for making of said blueprints, or keeping track of my blueprint collection. It is snowing. Once again, even with the new setup, some things don't change. There we go. Okay, off the rip. What do we have here? So Abyssal Basin, where you get the 2 base imprints right off the bag. This is the one region that I actually genuinely have a problem with, because I hate having your team basically decided for you right off the start. The funny thing though, if I were to pick 2 augments that I would want to actually have, Orc and Empath are exactly those imprints. In fact, plenty of Empath to go around, it would seem. Something like this off the start. My engine, my damage, and the Empath will probably get beat up still. Normal December, yeah. I've got my lights, but of course any light coming from the window definitely fluctuates with the snow clouds and whatnot. And it still looks like Canada's trying to cosplay Taiga Boreal, so it's snowy out there. Okay, so round 4, let's see what kind of weapons we do get available to us. The Scion weapon is interesting. Fire Bulwark is there if we want to try the run back. Or the bow. peeking over on the right-hand side, trying to see what everybody's picking. I don't see much dedication towards... Oh, there's a lot of Scion dedication, to be honest. Might not be the wisest of choices. But when I see Aqua Blaster, I'm thinking Umber. I'm not necessarily thinking like actual Scion. This here with the Sprout Guard is interesting. I don't see this used very, very often, but of course it does have the Scion element attached to it. But seeing so much water is kind of concerning. I am definitely second-guessing myself already in regards to my choices for weapon. But at the other option, I would have ended up taking the Ember Buckler, and I'd have all of these Ember... or this Ember Buckler going up against a bunch of water teams, which would be kind of stupid. So, I mean, all things considered, I think this wasn't terrible. We've got attack speed, healing. Let's take the attack speed. Let's bring Lynx onto the board. Do something like that. And then I'll definitely need to be keeping an eye on what other people are doing here. Squawk is going to beat me up more than likely, unless somehow my Ranger can just pump out enough damage to take care of the Lynx and the Volante and everybody else that's charging on through. But yeah, one more good shot like that, and it's definitely going to wreck that thought. Given what I'm going for, I don't need these on the bench anymore. Keep the Flish for now, that's fine. The Tofi is a welcome addition. I'll gladly accept the Tofi. In fact, it might be safer just to do this, all things considered. Everybody snuggle up there with the Atipo. Got a lot of shields, thankfully, with the amount of empath buffs that we do currently have on the board. But we do need to find some finishing blows here, otherwise we're going to be in trouble. It's all of our damage is in bursts. Nicholas, hello, welcome! Good to see you. Hope you're having a great day so far. We've taken a lot of heat compared to that first game. Granted, we're almost at that max threshold for interest. We shouldn't have to be taking a beating for that much longer, hopefully. What do we got here? Synergy. Getting one more Scion just by this would be quite nice. I wouldn't have to worry too much. Finding the Fighter Lynx is going to make things odd as well. If I were to say take Fleesh out for a minute, put Lynx onto the board, let's make you an empath that has a tank augment while also having Scion buff for damage. Atipo, you just worry about these two. And do something like this, potentially? Maybe we could catch those rogues on the way in? My Tatofi just got absolutely murked, so that's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, that didn't quite work out as I was hoping. Tipo. Oh no, I do kind of need it for the empath buff that I'm going for right now, unless I just want to stop that for the time being. 69 off the rip. There is a level up for at least one of my tanks. Optimally, I would love to have Atlas involved here as well. I think the damage just has to go onto this unit here. Take the Scion buff up for a minute, because you're not going to make much use of this at this time. Give it to you. Add Groko. Crawl towards, say, level 6. I'm not going to stay at level 5 for this start here. I need to still be rolling for level 1 or tier 1s eventually, but off the start, I think it's too risky to have so few units with what I'm trying to build. What's the TNT count in case I wanted to go for Invoker? Oh, there is none. It's just Totofis right now, eh? Do I ever consider making long-term YouTube videos? Absolutely, I just need the topic. And there's plenty of ideas that I do have in my head. I just need the time to just sit down and go for it. So, it is something that does come around every once in a while. Like, say, for example, my one video where I had the storytelling arc. I had that one come out a little while ago now. So it does come out, it's just a lot less often compared to my shorts, stream highlights, and that kind of stuff. 100%, I definitely am interested and will be making long-term stuff. Absolutely. A big upgrade we got there in that round was finding the Cuculus, which allows me to have some very early Enchanter to maybe, hopefully, help my units sustain. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough, at least not as of yet, but potentially at least soften this blow. Not terrible, just the Ranger versus Ranger with this Atipo, but with mine being hurt, I doubt that we're going to end up winning this one. Yeah, we barely do anything to the other Ranger. It's a Harbinger Ranger at that. It will absolutely pop me. The reroll is just going to give me rogues. I don't do rogue, so we'll avoid that. Damage increase, I'll gladly accept. We'll take the links here as well. Let's start looking for some of our tier 1s. Totofi, there you are. There we go. We've got TNT now. That's fantastic. Is there anyone else using it? And Maserati is as well, eh? Do I have to stop here then? Free bulwark. I still have this random links. And I've got the 2 tanks here. Yeah, I think I have to actually start going for levels quickly. It does appear that going for the Sprout Guard does have Maserati at least looking for some sort of Invoker style, which does have me in a bit of a contesting spot. I think weapon-wise, I have the better weapon, but getting to those late-game Illuvials, especially Sinal, for example, I need to get there first, I think. Very close battle here with HQ. One final shot there from the TNT is actually going to save me, it looks like. And thankfully, Ebe does not do squat for damage, so we're going to be alright. Going to stop the bleeding here. 7 losses in a row. But we hang in there. 4 units, no water, don't care. Scion imprint, we might just do that again. Put some levels in. Add 1 more tank to the squad. Gonna move my augments here. Something like this. For the meantime, at least. Still have the 4 empath, so I'm getting a bunch of shield. Can take them off if need be. Yeah, part of me is definitely kicking myself for just not trusting in Aegis. A composite crate to get going here. An enchanter imprint makes things odd, but a little interesting. We could try it. Who casts relatively quickly? But also doesn't die immediately. Omnivamp style. So here, maybe we can make this Lynx work. Gonna level up a bunch. Does get me all the way to the point where I can get my 5th bulwark. So I have my front line, but they are extremely weak right now. I need to have them evolved. Brandon, since I have Enchanter coming from 3 sources now, so my Ranger, my Lynx, and my Kukaloose are all going to be healing me every time you see one of those pink flashes on every single Omega. That's damage and heals coming on through. And we might be scrapping something together here. That was actually kind of interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. So right at this center point, 51 HP. Still able to hang in there. Go for Echoes, that's fine. Mammoth would be a great addition. Fantastic addition, actually. Hetty will grab you. Having the 2 Adors here is definitely teasing me, but I don't see how I can use it properly right now. You pathway up. No, actually, kind of want you to be there to block if need be. Just do something like that. Of course, Squawk knows what's up. As soon as he sees me now, he knows that some sort of Aegis is happening, and he's trying to show me how it's done, it looks like. Going to be rocking Toxic Aegis. Does have that Riptorus, which is going to be rather nasty. As far as 2, nothing to sleep on either. We are going to be able to take that one down, but again, it's this Scorpion. This is the supercharged unit. It will absolutely destroy me. A valiant effort from the squad, but again, Scorpion's the last one standing. Has some good augments on that thing, too. It's also apparently pushing through Aegis. It's giving me a taste of my own medicine, so to speak. Okay. Anime Clutch. There's Alfie. Continue with Enchanter if I really, really wanted to. Just, again, having such a weak front line right now is completely killing me. Debating on if I have to level again, but no, considering all the units that I have, I need to try and find some of these evolutions relatively quickly. And if I happen to find my later tier Illuvials while I'm rolling, it would be a benefit. I think that's how I have to treat this. It's not doing too bad, though. For some of these lower damage teams, my team is doing a fantastic job. It's just for the high damage teams that I'm getting wrecked on. Okay, so Quinks is here. Additional little bit of a support. Okay. Gonna do the 1-for-1 swap here. Atlas can be taken away. Or the Scarabok. That gets me 3 Earth now, which is nice. Hetty is here now, so that's a nice upgrade. 1-for-1 trade here. Kara Blue for the Cling. So I at least have a little bit of an upgrade in regards to my tank line. They still need to be evolved, but at least I'm just chasing tier 3s now instead of tier 1s, which is much more doable, all things considered, given the level I'm at. Yeah, anything consistent damage we seem to be able to do quite nicely with. This isn't too bad. Or I say consistent, but even the burst damage coming out from that ranger is scary. But it gets the job done. See if I can find a couple more evolutions for myself here. Is anybody running... Nobody's running Scoriox. It's only Seiru? That could potentially be an avenue that we can go. There's Mammoth. And I'll stay here at max interest. I still don't want to open the change purse just yet. Brawler crate for the emergency button. Omega power buff plus the emergency button. There is the here as well. Some additional tank, I think so. Shield plus resistances, yes please. Kukalus, what do you get? We are getting the right items for a Ariox. A Tipo might have just overstayed its welcome, though. I know I'm giving up a empath buff. Something like this, potentially? And there is a Furiox. Maybe we do look to level now. You can tell this is very scrappy. I am not normally accustomed to playing a comp like this. I don't know where my timings are, or my roll points or anything along those lines, but I mean, we're doing okay. Maserati did beat me to the Invokers, eh? Shoot. So yeah, we can't be doing Invoker style then. It may actually have to be Enchanter-based. Enchanter with Furiox. This is very interesting. Let's see if I can find something to help boost this. Not optimal. Just initial shield? Yes, initial shield. Need to find some upgrades here for my tank line. Winks. Scarabok, there we go. Might be time to spend. This might be stupid, but we're gonna try it. Did I get that in time? I did not. Unfortunate. Alright. The Enchanter gang is here. We'll have to see how effective that actually is in a minute. At the very least here today, we're experimenting. Can we focus this thing? Damn, almost. That doesn't kill me, does it? Alright. One more try. Very, very strange composition here, but we will make it do the best we possibly can. Lynx is here. So is Furiox. Furiox will have the augments that being used. Let's see. Enchanter Furiox? Is that something maybe I can try? Health and Omega Power? Why the heck not? Let's give it a shot. Damage. Let's get some additional speed. Throw away. Oh, cripe. Not optimal, as always. But let's see if we can get the job done here. This is a 4-Enchanter Scion build with every cast of the Furiox's Omega, which comes out pretty quickly. Heads up if you have an epilepsy warning, because there's going to be a lot of flashing happening in this team. Look how fast this team is just absolutely evaporating this squad from Squawks. This is weird. What would be a good starting point for playing this game or series? Depends on what you are like most interested in. Are you more of an exploring the world and catching your own creatures, or you're more auto battler and combat focused? Those would be my two main ideas. Depends on where you want to start from there, in my opinion. I need to get a Scion out of here, I think. No, I got granted by doing that. Only way to get 5 bulwark would be to level. I don't have enough levels. We're gonna run it. See if we can take care of throwables here. With the 4-Enchanter, we also get damage amplification. That is something I normally never get to play with. Yeah, so my Furiox is just as much a support as it is a damage dealer. With how fast it fires off these Omegas. Wow. This feels good, I'm not gonna lie. What a comp. No matter what, we're now in the points. But we have some hard teams to really get ourselves up against. Nice that we have a little NPC round here to kind of hold off for a second. I do not want Maserati finding an Aphisto. That would absolutely ruin my chances at taking this. Squawks does have Umber. It's not Steam, at least. Yeah, so if he was trying to do what I did to him the other day, I had a Fire Tipo, and that's why I was able to run Steam Aegis on him. But he has to do it a little bit more traditionally. Shield and resistances, steel resistances, I think we go for that. Can we take another brawler crate? Another emergency button, but we also have the takedown variant. Maybe give some of those to... And give maybe that to you? Is that how I want to do this? Maybe Mammoth as the one loaded up here? Let's level. Because it all relies onto this one here. This now gets me... Holy crap, a ramp fight just like that? I'll accept that. So this Umber is going to, in theory, be able to snowball on me from right to left, but we'll have to see if it actually gets rolling here. My Kukulus is right on top of it. And we've been able to hold so far, but again, it's not the Umber that I should technically be worried about. Well, I'm always going to be worried about the Umber, let's not be kidding ourselves. But we do have to worry about this Rip Lance. We take down the Rip Lance. Can we take down this Umber? This Enchanter squad is ridiculous! Okay. As it goes nuts in the background, it starts to snow, apparently. I'm not technically blocking anything, I don't think. So let's just say this. Things might be kind of lining up here for us here in just a moment. I am completely willing to lock this up so that the squiz does not get onto the field. This might look like a completely innocent looking little cling, but I'm completely willing to get rid of this 5 bulwark to drop a ramp fight directly on your Sinolf. Let's see if this works. Going up against a Mamu and a big old squad over in the corner, though. This is kind of nerve-wracking. To the skies, ramp fight. Can you get the job done? Big damage. There we go. Gonna be able to take them down. Now it's just a matter of having the rest of the enchanters do what they do best. Flash and pink, flash and damage, and all the heals we could possibly ask for. There we go. We have options, which is really cool. Very quickly, while I have the chance, we'll scoop up this Octius. They did find a Fisto, though. Just kind of annoying. Come on, camera. I've got 20 seconds. Okay, speedrun. Let's go. Fix that up real fast. Don't know why it keeps doing that to me, but there we go. So very, very similar in nature to the last time. Ramp fight. Jump on that Aphisto, please. Oh, it's going to be distracting a lot of Alluvials, but it's not going to be hitting the ones that I want. Can it get up there? We got that damage amp right as it takes to the air. Big damage coming on down. It does take down at least one of those invokers. And I do have the augment to heal on elimination. Ramp fight shall live. It does have the healing here from its teammates as well. Big stun from the Goliath. And look at this. Enchanters! What are you doing? This is incredible stuff. But we still have to deal with this Aphisto. That is still a very, very scary alluvial. Can we actually get the job done? No, did I count my chickens before they hatch? The shield! The shield! No! The final little shield. Hey, considering how scrappy that got, I'm not too disappointed. What would I have done in that instance there versus Maserati? Like, it was good. I dove on, like, I put it as far as I could, but they did a good job of blocking. Sinolf, maybe just got too much damage done, but I'm curious to see how this finishes off. We have our last two. The final two competitors, both of these two just did an absolute phenomenal job making these teams. And let's see how it goes. That Aphisto got immediately murked by the Umber, so that did not look too good in the slightest here for Maserati, with some of their big carries being taken down. The Umber is still here, and Droa is doing an absolute clinic here into this battle. Maserati, I imagine, will fall as soon as that untargetable goes down, which means Androa is the winner here of this game. Which kills me a little bit, because I could actually beat Androa. So had I actually won that game with Maserati, I very well might have actually won this entire game. It was close. It was close, but that was fun. That last little shield. Well played. GG's. Just quickly rebooting the game, then we're going to hop into the Overworld side of things here in just a moment. Again, going to take a trip to Crimson Wastes. I am currently looking for Malura. I'm still just doing stage 1 runs because I'm an absolute scaredy cat and don't want to go into stage 2 just yet. But I'm going to try and see if we could find one through a stage 1. Best case scenario, we get to add that to the collection. Worst case, we'll find plenty of other awesome alluvials, I'm sure, during our time in the overworld. But I never did really get the chance to answer your question there, Nicholas. Like, in terms of what a good starting point would be. Because there's definitely the two ways that you can think about it. Like, I know some people who play one side of the games exclusively. Like, some people never touch Illuvium Arena, they just strictly play Overworld. Or some people never touch Overworld and strictly play Arena. I'm personally right in the middle. I play pretty much everything, and then if you include Illuvium 0, I play all three. I'm just, I guess, a Illuvium power user, you can say. But if, like, going into the world and catching the alluvials is something you find more fun, Overworld is definitely the way to go. Hop on over to the obelisk and get yourself started with either of these areas, but just go for the Stage 0 runs. These are the free-to-play ones where you go to collect the Tier 0s of the Illuvium world. And you can start catching and start actually making your own collection. You can find Tier 0 alluvials with good stats, or just build your Illuvidex as much as you want. Heck, you could even find hollows and dark hollows, the shinies of this game, you can absolutely find in a Stage 0. But eventually you are going to want to go up into the further and further stages, and that's where a little bit of investment does have to be made in terms of just buying fuel to get that done. And of course, you need the shards, you need the Pokeballs of this game, basically, right? And you're gonna have to spend, say, for example, a Stage 1 run, maybe just catching, or not catching, but catching very little in terms of alluvials, and spending more time shooting rocks instead. Which can be a little bit frustrating to get into at times, sure, trying to keep your Pokeball stack up, or your shards stack up. But it is a lot of fun. Discovering the alluvials yourself, catching them, is definitely a lot of fun. But at the same time, there's nothing stopping you from just going directly into the arena, because the Illuvium Arena, the Gauntlet, is all free-to-play friendly. All alluvials have the exact same stats, and the ranked leaderboard as well, like you saw me playing a second ago, that's all based off of Gauntlet, so alluvial stats do not matter. The only time that does matter is when you start getting into what's called Leviathan, because that is just the Illuvium Gauntlet, but you're using the actual alluvials that you've caught. So your stats differences all make a difference in that game mode. That is like one of the big selling points of the auto battler, I do personally believe, because there's something super special, at least to me, about going into the arena with alluvials that I own. And I do believe the general community as a whole kind of feel very, very similar. So I would not be surprised if Leviathan runs or Leviathan game modes become more prevalent in the future, but still having a free-to-play option with the current Gauntlet as it stands now. So you have those two options. You've got plenty that you can definitely get into, whether it's the auto battler side or joining, like what I'm doing right now here with the Overworld, and trying to find the alluvials that I want to catch. That got me excited for a second. That's Allura. I need the fully evolved version of this guy. A Relentless Lynx, I do have one. I'm not too worried about it right now. A hollowed out Tiru is available. A Chacondi is available. Hollow Tiru, potentially. An Exalted, that's a fully evolved Monkier. We can take a look and see if it's got any good stats or not. Kirablu, Chocorol, Tiantis, Rylus. Another TB Ruko. I think I've caught plenty of those. Hollow Chuko. A little Lynx. I can always accept the Lynx. And the last three up top, not much. How about those rocks? What are these? Seismic and Tectonic? That rock here, the Tectonic, is full of shards, or full of Pokeballs. So I'm going to go after that right away, just to collect that. That is actually the Lynx that I was looking at earlier. We'll shoot it down real quick. That rock with the greenish, barely greenish looking tint is also one that has the shards in it. So I'll collect that and continue on towards wrong rock. Towards that big rock. That's another one. I like this lighting. I can actually tell the differences between the rocks. This should spit me out right beside the poison pool, if I do recall correctly. If I can actually platform. There we go. Blue. I'll let you be. Not looking for you right now. There's the poison pool near the skeleton. Almost near that rock, I think. Or is it up here? It keeps saying that I passed it. Traversing this area can be confusing to me at times. Okay, so it's like right below me, isn't it? And fire now? This rock is trolling me, apparently. Oh, there it is. Yeah, this I wanted to get right away, as it gives me a bunch of shards. We'll see here in a second. And even a resplendent shard. That's huge. That's a tier 5 one. I do not have many of those at all. I'm very, very happy with that pickup. I do not have very many tier 5s in my collection for that very reason. Trying to find a tier 5 shard is extremely difficult. And then finding a tier 5 in general can sometimes be very, very difficult as well, especially as someone like myself who doesn't go on very many stage 3 runs. Or like hardly ever goes on stage 3 runs. Especially if I'm looking at any of those higher evolved alluvials, the stage 2s or 3s. That's very, very difficult. Since I happen to be right next to it, this hollow Chuko is here. Let's take a look and see if we can pick this one up, if it has any good stats or not. I'm still looking for a hollow Chuko with good stats. But focus on the encounter for the time being. Caribou, come on over. You've got Riptor to join. You've got Monkier to join. And my Ranger is here as well. Is that enough? Give myself a suit. I am definitely underdoing it in terms of alluvials. I'll just add TNT here as well. This might be overkill, but we'll let it run anyway. Not too bad. Nobody went down, which is nice. Now let's take a look at some of the stats on this guy. If I right click, we've got max attack speed, but that's about it. A little unfortunate. Maximum of 2 perfect, so I'm not going to be too excited for it. So I'll just grab the Chuko, use it for fusion if I have the opportunity sometime down the road. Let's see if it'll just cooperate and go into the common shard. And it'll cooperate on the first time. So first alluvial caught of the day, it is going to be a hollow. Our little Chuko is here. Maxed out on attack speed. Gladly pick that one up. There's always room for one more hollow, one more shiny. Gladly accept it. What is the next one closest to us here? If I go back down, that's where the Exalted Monk here is, and the Hollowed Out Tyrio. Could maybe... yeah, that's probably the way to go. Let's go backwards then. Right back to the skeleton. Scare the crap out of that Kira Blue real quick. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but does anybody else ever have that fear of open areas? There's something about Crimson Wastes in particular, especially if I'm on the other side where like the sand dunes are a little bit more prevalent. Like, I always fear like I'm just walking through the dunes and all of a sudden like a giant worm or something is gonna come eat me. Just always have that feeling whenever traversing an area like this. Alright, Exalted Monk Ear. So this is the fully evolved version of the Monk Ear. I do have a hollow one. I think I even have it on my team right now, and its stats aren't too bad. But I'll gladly still accept another, and I'll gladly take a look at whatever friends the Monk Ear has brought with it. Stats-wise, pretty much right down the middle for the most part. Having a little bit of movement speed isn't actually bad for Luffio that likes to get up close and personal, going from target to target. But at the same time, sometimes you want a fighter with slow movement speed so that it's always the last one to arrive in the fight and it's less likely to be targeted. Not necessarily anything too exciting to capture per se, but this is still a great target for my Illuvials to level up on. So let's bring Totofi back out here. Riptor. We'll need Caradulo because it's a little bit more of a feistier opponent. And here to compare my Monk Ear here. This is what I got right now. Bunch of Omega power, which unfortunately here for Monk Ear isn't actually that huge. But the attack speed's pretty good, resistance pretty good. Attack is okay, but it's really rough for health. But it is hollow, so I love it dearly. Caradulo gonna control the fight quite nicely without going down. Beautiful. And because there was an Exalted Monk here, and there was a Ryulu on the other side as well, means it was evolved, so more experience. Optimally, maybe I would have tried to use a few less Illuvials to let those ones that I did use level up a little bit more. But we're just having a good time here. Could be optimal, but where's the fun in that? Debating on trying to catch this one. Pretty much right down the middle. I think we'll just take the risk with a common. If it runs away, it's not the end of the world. Only got the one shot trying to get it. And it is going to break out. That's alright. Just means that I have more energy for something else in the overworld. That's always the thing, though. If I were to find... or I gotta check those... the Exalteds, or like the evolved ones. Because the biggest hurdle that you find, I think at least personally, in the overworld or in the Illuvium ecosystem as a whole right now, is actually leveling up your Illuvials. Like, I can get as many of these Chocoros as I want, for example, or any of the middle stage evolutions that I want. But leveling those up to 40, especially as somebody who doesn't do too many stage 3 runs, is painfully long. So being able to find one out in the wild, fully evolved, and just catching it is a huge time save. And if you happen to find one with good stats, that's easily days worth of work that you've saved. So anytime I see a fully evolved alluvial, I have to at least check it. Especially if it's hollow. Okay, this time, stats-wise, that is a rather weak monk here. Okay, Tiru, and then the hollowed out one, at least it has 2 perfect stats. I shall pick this one up, so let's be a little bit more careful with our fight here this time. Turn you into a tank. And then maybe just not even play around. Just bring out the big tank. Actually, no, that's a little overkill. The baby can come out here and be just fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Squad's all here. I've got maybe 1 too many in terms of alluvials. Because I need... Okay, that'll give me 2 shots. Let's go from there. The ranger will worry about the other 2. Meanwhile, this gives my alluvials plenty of time to focus down the middle stage evolution there, Tiru. Clean them up quite nicely. And the only one threatened to go down is the ranger, and there is no penalty if the ranger goes down. So that is totally fine. Dark hollowed out lesser monk ears almost at level 20. If I had more dark hollow lesser monk ears, I could, in theory, evolve one. But that is not the world we live in. Dark hollow is extremely hard to find, of course. I feel like hollows in general, like the ones that I'm going after right now, as this guy breaks out, little bugger, are much easier to find on average. At least compared to how they used to be. But dark hollows are still what feels like very, very rare. We will pick up this one. 2 perfect stats here on this Tiru. Considering most of the time the Tiru is more so of a meat shield of the rogue squad anyway. Having the resistances is nice. Optimally, it would have had some more HP, but again, the fact that it's hollow is quite nice. Alright. Next up, there was one more pretty close by, if I do recall correctly. 2 of them, actually. Chakondi. Speaking of fully evolved evolution, or fully evolved alluvials, this is one I definitely want to check out. I will place a beacon here, because it looks like I'm going to have to jump down. There it is. There we are. We'll pick that one up here in just a moment. There we go. Playlist swapping on me as per usual. At least once a stream, I swear it does that, even if I hit the loop button. Okay, let's take a look. So the little baby Tiru does have full Omega power, but that's about it. Full attack damage onto Tofi. This Chakondi is nothing to write home about, but I still need it for the sake of skins, so we will pick that one up. I will fire on the big guns to get the job done here. And I need to save, what, 55? This is pretty much exactly where I need to be, it looks like. So we'll just let the 2 toxics go at it here. My ranger is here for the assist as well, of course. Clean it up quite nicely. And we'll pick this Chakondi up here. We don't have any more of the common shards, so just use the tier 2 shards. That's alright. Yeah, so what I'm doing right here, right now, for the overworld when I'm running around like this, when I capture these alluvials, if I then go into the arena mode, so the auto battler, and then I were to go into Leviathan mode, I could use this particular Chakondi, for example, in the battle itself. And it would have the stats that are shown up above me here in the top right. But that is only Leviathan mode. If you never touch the overworld, if you never touch this sign of Illuvium, you can still go into the arena gauntlets, and even the arena ranked mode. And it's okay, because it's the free-to-play mode that does not have alluvial stats or collection in mind. The only thing that carries over is the hollow or the dark hollow part, so just the shiny portions. Like, I can use my shiny team in the free-to-play mode because I caught it, but its stats don't carry over, if that makes sense. But, like, whenever you see, like, announcements for, like, big Leviathan tournaments, a lot of people will be grinding in what I'm doing right here, right now, trying to find the highest possible, the strongest alluvials possible, best stats in all that regard, while also leveling themselves up, because everything is taken into account for Leviathan, but that's not the average game mode. Got another hollow here with this Tiru. We'll pick this one up as well. And then, oh, the auto battler is used for catching little guys. Yeah, so the actual combat right now is used in the auto battler style. However, you may have seen, possibly if you're following Illuvium on X, you see them actually out in the out in the world and battling the alluvials that they're catching. That is the MMO. Eventually, this part of the game is not going to be like this anymore. The MMO is going to have this auto battler portion removed. It's not going to be a part of the game. It's going to be a traditional MMO, like, say, a Genshin Impact kind of style combat. We're actually, like, needing to aim, looking for, like, specific body parts to hit, and knocking them out so that you can then catch them, kind of thing, like a traditional creature capture kind of style. The way that it is right now with the auto battler is probably only going to be like this for a couple more months. But when the MMO comes out, it'll be completely different. Sorry, I didn't quite... it didn't click to me what you said in your comment on the first time, but that was my fault. Stats-wise, all of these are a little bit rough. Totofi's not too bad, but movement speed on a unit that does not move is definitely underwhelming. So we'll just go collect that hollowed out alluvial in just a moment's time. Bring in the little guys. And just open fire from there. Have you had the opportunity to take a look at some of the leaks or the footage that they've posted on X at all, Nicholas? Get leveled up nice and quick. We'll see if I can scoop this up on the first shot. I'd rather not use 2 shards on this if I don't have to. Yeah, because that's where all the excitement is right now here for Illuvium. They've gotten the Illuvium Arena polished to the point where it's a very, very good standalone auto battler. Definitely one of the best. I know personally I'm biased as heck, but I'll say like the best auto battler out there. But auto battlers are a certain niche, and the next step is the MMO. And while the overworld as it is right now is still decent for being a capture simulator, as some would call it, it does, as it stands at this moment, lack a little bit of the action aspect of the game. And right now, I can't like join somebody for a multiplayer version of this. The MMO will absolutely be changing that. Final thing on the docket that I'm going to try and snag is this little Lura. Teasing me a little bit, I'm looking for the evolved version of that thing, but I'll still gladly accept a Lura. I don't have a very good one, I don't think, right now. So it'd be pretty epic if we could actually find a good one. Should be right around the corner here. Is this it right there? There it is. Lock it down. Captured. Let's go get him. Goal will be probably to catch this thing no matter what, unless there's something else in there with the Lura that happens to be better. We'll see. Stats-wise here on the Lura, let's take a look. Not too shabby, actually. Some decent Omega, or very good Omega power, decent damage, decent health. Resistances and attack speed are a little off, but I would actually be very, very happy with this. I mean, the T-Rue's okay, but it's still just the Rue. Compared to the Lura, I would absolutely love to get my hands on that. So let's go for it here. I need to save 40 points, or 41 points in particular, to get 2 shots at it. Paradulo, tank for me. Rip Lance come out to play. 45 points to knock down 3 of them. I think this is doable. Let's take a look. Yeah, they'll clean it up quite nicely. Potentially even a little bit overkill. But I'd rather make sure it's secured there with the 2 toxic squad coming on through. Alright. I really don't want to have to use a tier 4 shard, so please behave and go into the tier 3. Barely under a 50% chance to actually capture this guy. And it's a pretty decent Lura. Love to be able to take it. Come on, it is going to escape. Okay. Unfortunate here. Trying to find tier 4 shards is so tough. I think I'm still going to just end up using a 3. God forbid I find a tier 4 sometime. I need those higher level shards. 50% chance to actually catch this thing. Can we bring it home, or is it going to run away right here in front of me? It is going to come with us. There we go. We are going to be able to bring this Lura to the squad. Adorable little bugger with plenty of Omega power and movement speed, some decent health and attack damage. The only things a little bit lackluster are its attack speed and resistances, but that is a-okay by me. A nice little catch to finish the job here. And this was a little bit faster than what I was predicting. I thought this would take me right to noon. And it did not. I still have about 15 minutes, it looks like. But I wouldn't be able to do another Overworld run in that time. Another arena match might actually be the faster option without going too far into overtime. So we might just do that. But still a pretty cool run overall. We're not going to see all the things that we caught here in the overview. In fact, that gyro is from a run I did the other day. But we did get a pretty nice one. We still got that Lura that was fully maxed out again on Omega Power. We'll love to play with that thing in a little bit. But yeah, we'll go back to the arena. Of course, big score that we did here today on stream was being able to have fully completed the Battle Pass. Again, it's the first and the only Battle Pass that I have ever fully completed. And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Still wish I had a better understanding of what these points did exactly. It might be for raffles. I could not tell you. Yeah, so we'll do one more round here of Arena. Then we'll get into our Illuvium 0 cooldown lap, where I've got a couple of scanners that are at least level 4 that could potentially, small chance, but potentially, find us some tier 4 biodata and really get to that collection going here. Because again, my goal personally is for by the time the MMO comes out, which I'm not internal. I have no idea, and I'm not talking about the demo, I'm talking about like the actual release of the MMO. But my goal is that I want to have a living dex of the Illuvials from Overworld. So one of every single Illuvial currently in the game. I then want all the biodata from Illuvium 0 for every Illuvial in the game. So I'm basically building like 2 living dexes of sorts, but one is of biodata, one is of the actual Illuvials. And then from there, when the MMO comes out, if another set of Illuvials come out, I have at least one of everything, and by having the biodata, I can have the skins for one of everything. So that is my big goal. I don't know exactly how much time I have per se to get that done, because we don't know exactly when the MMO is coming out or anything as of yet, and I definitely don't want to rush things. Don't want to put any pressure on them. It's definitely very, very highly anticipated, but it needs to be done right. So I can wait if I have to, and if anything, it gives me more time to get my goal done. Alright, so we've got Graceful Fur Knight, which might be a bot. I'm not 100% sure. We have Kyurjin, Pure Love, Bad Mech, FM Axed, Dead Chat Sam, and definitely not Slicks. SC Kills from Atlas. I saw the lettering and saw the way that that was, that the name looked, and it looked like Slicks for a second there. And we get to play on Taiga Boreal, so we get this beautiful battle board. Definitely hope to one day be able to actually explore this area in the Overworld or in the MMO. Got a handful of different options with the mixture of components we have received here. No, I don't want to combine nothing. Do not want to combine anything yet. I want to see what my weapon actually ends up being first. see what everybody's doing. Pure Love with a very, very fast level 5. My goodness. That must have been expensive. Yeah, no credits left. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's one way to do it. If you think you're going to be racing somebody for, say, maybe that ace or something, that's a interesting way of doing it. Let's see, what kind of weapon do we end up getting based off of what everybody else is doing? Okay, so there's 2 different paths for Aegis. I'm seeing a lot of grass actually starting things off here. Let's swap that one. Is Earth potentially the option? We've done Ember Buckler already. Let's try the Earth version. Get a little bit of backup. We will lose these first couple of rounds, but no sweat. So with there being a little bit of a mixture between the fire and grass being the dominant force here in this game, I guess I could have gone fire, but I could have I could have gone for the wildfire build that I did before, but I could be potentially contesting myself with fire and grass players. Are we somehow going to win this one? Damn, okay. Oh, so close. But I could still very potentially be contested. But nobody's really going for Earth, and I don't count the rogue weapon, because you're probably just going for rogue. You don't really care about your affinity. We'll go for the Rejuvenating Pulse. I'll take these Atlases. Get ourselves situated. So there's 2 ways that we can do this. Either I do contest the grass player's heads up and go for Bloom and try to get Forest as my late game carry. Or I can go for the fire variant with a Scoriox. I think the fire variant would be better, but I am going to be contested by Pure Love. I can get rid of a couple of the Alluvials that I know that I'm not necessarily going to be using. Potentially go for a bigger Groko. We'll add Atlas to the squad. That's another tank to the mix. Just build up my tank line for now, as I await for 70 credits. Just trying to take as minimal damage as I possibly can. Trade as evenly as I possibly can. Because as long as I'm not down to like 50 health by round 10, I'm doing okay. Heck, if we could sneak some wins here and there, that's a bonus as well. Might be counting my chickens a little bit before they hatch. I've done that once already today. And the overtime pulses will help finish the job. We will stop the bleeding. Get a win. 2 nice pickups here. TNT added to the squad. Actually allows me for very early Granite. And there's Archie, so that's a nice pickup as well. Team Builder, where is it? I have the Earth Grasp. No. Ember Bastion. This has me as the Bloom variant, though. I'll just have to keep that in mind. Okay, the shields plus resistances. 1 more Caribou has been added here. If I am going for Scoriox, I need this. We'll move that over here. Axon. Oh, we have Granite Harbinger right now? That's actually a 6 start to the game, my goodness. Okay, let's make sure that our Axon then is the one feeling the greatest. There is an Alfie, so I do have to keep that in mind. Trying to think about how to best possibly position it to not get too many of my alluvials caught in the mess. Bracco is going to just immediately make me eat my words, is it? They'll shoot, and it's actually going to completely bypass my other alluvials, I think. Might be tagging the Axon, so could have been a little bit better. See if we can take a few of these alluvials down. A little bit of a better angle for you. Yeah, we'll end up falling this one. Okay, we're just about to hit 70 credits. We do find our evolution onto Caradulo, which is nice. I'll put 1 point into my level and get my Archie in here. Set myself up like this. I need to find Archie now, though. That is the problem. Do need to find 2, and how many are there in terms of Archosis? There's just the 1, so there's still plenty in the pool. Optimally find another tank as well, and maybe I can pull Archie out for just a moment's time, take advantage of that 5 bulwark buff. Now with it all being focused here onto Axon, maybe that Harbinger buff could come in and save me? A nice last second shield. 3 on 1 though, and one of them is a healer, which is a little bit annoying. Not enough to take down the Fleesh. We will lose this one. Does the Fleesh go down with us? No, not quite. So I was worried about 50 HP at level 10. Well, I mean, we did better than that. There is the tank I was looking for. So Kling can join the squad. You're right in the center. Ranger, come back. All of these tanks are relatively quick in terms of speed, so they can either go up front or from behind. A-okay. I'll put Grocko up front just to mess with the Doka. I would like an app on if I am going to end up going for Scoriox. Clean out the bench a little bit. App on. No. Caribou again. No. You're going to find app on. Keep myself at 70 credits. I probably could have waited and not sold that to Tofi. But not the end of the world. I'm not going for Invoker. And I don't think anybody else is. I mean, SK could potentially. A health or the Onomega shield? How about health and damage at the same time? I like that option. Finding a squiz is so weird. I definitely am tempted, but I don't think I'd be able to really do much with it right now. Eddie, we definitely need you. We need you up front here, Ranger. Pick up this Lynx real quick. We do at least have the 5 bulwarks, so we're reflecting damage now as they hit us. Not going to be the complete saving grace, though. These Inferno units are quite nasty. And the Squiz is going to be able to take us down. Lynx is a water one this time, which is not the end of the world. I'm sure we could sneak it in if we wanted to. Okay, we could go for the imprint. Potentially making whatever empath that we get tankier. Resistances is not a bad idea either. Pure damage, I'm going to roll. Not quite. I think we might just go for the bulwark. Yeah, we'll go for the bulwark imprint. There is our Aegis unit. So now we can actually start putting our credits into leveling up. Alright. Now, for example, I can give Archos my bulwark buff. And will be rather well funded. Pure Love does have a Fury, but that is it. I need to start trying to contest this. So now, you are here. I have one more spot for an Illuvium. We'll do it like this. How about Granite Aegis to kind of get us kick-started? At this moment, let's grab this Cling and level up one more time. Slightly a little bit more so than I guess I really had to, but we'll get it done anyway. You here, do something like this. Have Apon here with us. I need to put these augments onto some of these alluvials. I'm going to be too slow to do so. Strike Crate is going to give me the one for percentage health, which is quite nice. Am I done with the Titofi? I might not be, so I'm going to hang on to it for just a moment. There is the potential for maybe some more Granite users to show up in the future. This one is a rough one. Kirigen is doing a solid job at wrecking my face here, especially taking care of my Fury. Axon might not be a Harbinger anymore, so that's a little bit of a debuff, but it is still very, very tanky, still very, very strong. And my Ranger's actually packing a pretty decent punch here as well, over 5k so far. And we might be able to time them out by the overtime. There we go. The Life Leecher will gladly accept. There's Hetty. Okay, Fury, take that. Aegis buffs here as well. Gotta watch out for that Rake. Get them situated kind of like this. You can cuddle the Apon, just don't cuddle the Ranger or the Archos. When in doubt, Omega Power over time. Let's give that to you. How many do we have in terms of Furies now? There's a couple Furies across the board, but not very many people actually have, or nobody really has a Fury Ox, so I am still in an okay spot. I think we try to get to level 8 on the next level, or on the next round. And see if this poor little Fury can actually hang on. We are getting deleted pretty badly. We'll end up getting cleaned up here in the end. I mean, that was some good damage, but not quite enough. Okay, that is one that I'm looking for. Let's see. Scarebok can join the party. Do I have enough to stay within max interest and level? No, not quite yet. If I just say screw it to the links, I might, though. Not quite. Just gotta wait till the next level, or next round. Yeah, this is okay. I gotta eventually find a room, or find a spot for Hetty to join the squad. Potentially replace the Karadulo. Water isn't going to be necessarily doing me that much of a favor in this current composition. At least with it being bunker versus bunker, my Fury is not going to be contested. As these Illuvials fall, I will start shooting faster and faster. But can they stay safe, stay untargeted? This is where things start to get problematic as my tank line falls. Yeah, we'll get focused down. It's going to be a rough one. So basically this round pretty much lining up exactly where I need to in terms of where it's time to move. Okay, Scarabok again is here. Level 8 is here. It is time to roll. We need Flare. There's Hetty. Gyarados, make the switch. Give Hetty the augments. And then take Axon out. Mammoth, come play. Can I find an evolved Mammoth? Sure, I guess I can take that. Scarabok is here as well. I have one more spot left on the bench that I did not use at all. Just gonna throw in another Groko. Unfortunate. Not worried about the Mammoth just yet. I need to find these two. That's not bad. Fury is going to end up falling. Again, have not found the Fury, or the leveled up version, the Fury Ox, which is definitely hurting me here. Wish I had the extra firepower in this instance to burn through this Inferno. One more opportunity to try and get this one done. Basically gonna blow whatever else I have left in the tank to try and get this going. It does help that we do have an NPC round. Binding Singe is nice. This does give us 3 fire now. I can, in theory, oh no, I need that, I need the Groko there for, fire buff. Is there another tank that I can just do without? Not really. Let's see, one more push. I still don't see really any Scorioxes on board. One more try. Eddie, come on down. There is Fury. 1, 2, take that. Eddie, Fury. Eddie again. One more time, not quite enough. There is the maxed out one. There we go, put you right next to Furiox. Give me the Resistance Stealer. Synergy-wise. Screwed another Bulwark, I guess. Give it to Mammoth. And there we have it. So we don't have Scoriox, but we do have at least the Blotto. Optimally, Blotto should have had the augments. Optimally, Blotto should have been catching these rogues. But we do still have a lot of firepower as long as Furiox can stay alive and my tanks can hold the line. So far, this isn't looking too bad, actually. Relatively even fight. Good stun, though, from there. Scarabok is going to make this problematic. Got stuck too long. Big stun. Furiox, can you stay alive? One more heal from the Archos. Might not be enough. We tried. But not this time. Not everyone can be a banger. That is alright, just unfortunately near the end. I mean, even just the one player having Furiox, it's not necessarily terrible. But there might have been... Probably should have just went for Ember Buckler. The fire one again. In terms of strictly a positioning thing, it's probably what should have been done. But it was worth the experiment. Still happy we tried. Then we'll hop into our Illuvium 0 cooldown before we close things off here for today. Again, it is the World Championship weekend. By the end of this weekend, we will be crowning ourselves, or crowning someone, the very first Illuvium Pro League champion. I cannot wait to see it. And of course, be a part of it. I'm very, very blessed to be able to cast that. Our scans. Oh, that's interesting. We found something, but I'm actually full on biodata. Oh man. Okay. There's no way that I'm going to be able to fix that quickly, is there? I've got one data bank completely full. I've got 2 banks full. I need to... Oh, 200 of this, eh? I think I have a blueprint that's a duplicate that I can get rid of. Potentially here. I really don't like getting rid of it, though. Let me check my list. Kiradulo, do I have more than one suit for you? I do, actually. Okay, I can get rid of this one, then. It will let me get rid of it, right? Maybe not. So, I just kind of teased myself a little bit then. I have this blueprint sitting here, or not blueprints, but a biodata sitting here at this scanner. And I have no room for it and no way to easily get it either. And get started that. Can I just build a new one? How much does that cost? 30? It'll have to take overnight, but I could potentially get there. Gotta let this cook for a little while. But yeah, that's gonna tease me a little bit. What, so it's... Okay, you can remove biodata, but you can't remove blueprints. Okay. Well, in that case, I just get rid of a tier 1 then, because I've already done that. That's an easy fix. Yeah, easy fix. I know I have another Archie. Alright, what do we get? The Virtuous Floor Lengths is what we do end up finding, but of course, I already have all tier 2 biodata, so definitely unfortunate. But it does mean I can get those blueprints a little bit quicker. But with it being a Lynx, you can't make that in the game yet anyway. That's alright. My second tier 4 scanner on this second plot can be fired off. Number 1 is not going to find me anything here today. And I'm still saving up fuel for the next scanners. I should then also be thinking about the data banks as well. How many more slots do I have? About 9 more slots on this one. Okay, that'll be a battle for another day then. Shard Bluff. Off we go. Still got plenty of space here in terms of biodata. And let's see. 1, 2, nothing this time. And then I'm still again saving biodata, or not biodata, saving fuel for the next upgrades. Taiga Boreal, I'll pick up a bunch of this passive fuel. Yes, please. Thank you. Pick that up here as well. I have plenty of fuel for this one, but my problem here is that I actually don't have enough storage space or resources to go bump up to a tier 4 scanner. Need 14 million. I am nowhere near that. Kind of get started here on some of these, though. It was what I needed. I needed the... Not the silicon, the Solon. That's what I'm missing. So I just need to wait for my next fuel pump to come on through nicely. Don't have enough for that, but we do have a couple of research lab projects going on through. Potentially some blueprints. We do find the Rye Shell. So if I hop on over here, the Rye Shell, that's a tier 1 blueprint. And then the shell. This gives me an armor suit here for the Rye, which means I now have a Rye suit and drone combo. So I am all set on collecting stuff for the Rye. There we go. Gladly cancel that one. This one we'll take a look at. Exalted Gorilla, anything? Nope, not quite. So then of my tier 1 biodata, what do I still need? Take a look at the sheet one more time here. In terms of combos, I need Gorilla, I need Apon. I don't have Apon on this plot. Rylu, do I have Rylu? Or TNT or TB Ruko? I don't think I do. Oh, I do have TNT, actually. That can work. So I need a TNT... Both, actually. I need armor and a drone for TNT. So I can do that. That works out nicely. Everything's functional while I still look to load up on the rest of my resources to upgrade these scanners. They're going to be quite far behind compared to the other plots, but I also did get this plot way later than the other plots. In some instances, years later. Like Halcyon Sea I've had for maybe 2-3 years right now. Same thing with Shard Bluff and Abyssal. And this is my tier 3 plots, of course, my fuel collector. I used to just burn the fuel over and over again, but something that was brought to my attention was that because we're currently in process of building up the safety pool for Illuvium as a whole, just building up like the safety bank, so they can keep working on the game without any sort of hiccups. It does mean that the rev distribution portion of Illuvium 0 is actually on pause, which normally that doesn't bother me, but I'm going to also pair this up with saving up so that I can eventually turn this into, or this area up here, the top left, or top right. Save up for training gyms, and then just have whatever fuel I need to potentially upgrade that. Just have this all set aside. So I'm going to be saving my fuel here on this plot for quite a bit until I hear anything different. But all's good there. Over at Brightland Steps, this one is still a work in progress. Still looking for that very, very first blueprint. I'm sure we'll get it soon enough. And trying to be using that one for a video of how fast you can get from a new plot to blueprint. And then I'm working on my storages over here, while also trying to upgrade my collectors. This one just requires resources, doesn't actually require any fuel, so a nice easy upgrade there. Have the 3 storage units of each type. All good, all 3 of those are going, that's fine. Like that. And then this one will eventually be set up for success with a training gym as well. But with that, that is pretty much all activities set and good to go here for Illuvium 0. Which means we will be closing things down here for today. Quickly move my feet around. Big thank you to everybody who tuned in, of course, throughout the day. Always a pleasure hanging out. Game plan for myself over the next couple of days. So we'll see. Tomorrow's going to be a video editing day for myself. Potentially get something long form made here. Again, I know I say this week after week, but I have all these projects that I want to do. just don't quite have the time to sit down and actually crush out. So I'm going to try and do that again this week. Then going into Friday, we'll have to see if I have the bandwidth. Maybe I'll do a bonus stream, but we'll have to, of course, see if I'm available. Assume that I'm not, but you'll get the announcement if I am. Then the weekend, of course, we do have the Illuvium Pro League's Grand Finals on Saturday and Sunday. So a double dose of IPL action once again to finish off the season. Going to be an extremely exciting time. It's already been an incredible season and incredible Grand Finals. I can only imagine it just heating up that much more as we get closer and closer to crowning our very first Illuvium Pro League champion. Then Monday, we'll be right back, of course, to regular scheduled streams. Just because the Illuvium Pro League's over doesn't mean I'm done. I'm not going anywhere. Still going to be making plenty of streams and as many videos as I can in regards to Illuvium in particular. I don't like bouncing around, and I've still been just having a ton of fun here in Illuvium. So I'll be sticking around even after Illuvium Pro League. With that, I hope everybody has a fantastic day as always, and I will see you on the next one.